Hello, it's your favorite sports Unc here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry. Oh, okay. Here we go. We got a very special guest joining us. She's fresh off her second Diamond League win. She's the fastest woman in the world in 2025. She's undefeated in the 100 meters in 2025. And she won the 100 and the 200 at the USA Track and Field Trials this year. And she will represent the USA in Tokyo, September 13th to the 21st. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. Melissa, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing amazing. Let me start you with this. You get off to a great start. You run high 10.8s early in the season, and you haven't let up. Mm-hmm. Do you feel you're in the type of shape, you're in the type of condition that you can go to the championships and maybe run sub 1060? You feel you're in that kind of condition? The right track, the right conditions, the right people, because you're going to have Alfred in that race. You're going to have Toulouse in that race. You're going to have Tia Clayton in that race. You're going to have your training partner, Sha'Carri Richardson, in that race. So you're going to have the competition. Will the conditions permit you with the fitness that you're in right now?
I think so. And I think really it just boils down to, me at the end of the day, just continuing to do the things that's been working for me with it, which is, showing up and executing my race to the best of my ability. And I definitely do think that is possible.
I think you got a lot of confidence last year when you got that bronze medal in Paris. When you got that bronze medal and you it's just something about you like, man. But I could tell you weren't satisfied. Training with the world champion and coming into this season, what were your expectations, Melissa, coming into this season? Because did you know you had this kind of, to back it up, there have been a whole lot of women that back up 10-6 with another 10-6. That haven't happened. You got to go back to Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. You got to go back to Elaine Thompson. You got to go back. There ain't a whole lot of women that have done what you just did.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me going into the 2025 season is starting it out healthy. I started training for Paris with a lingering issue from the previous season.
Okay.
And also I had just joined Star Athletics with Dennis Mitchell and Sharif Lewis. So it was definitely like a lot of things happening all at once. And it was like once I really didn't actually even get a good footing in yet. And then it was kind of like, oh, wow, like, no, something's wrong. Like it was to a point to where I actually had to stop training with the group for about 2.5 months. Ooh. And so those days where I was like on the bike and watching them be able to go out there and train and get after it, like, even though there were some days where, they were dying on the ground. It's like, I want to be there with y'all. Like, I want to be able to feel that pain. I want to be able to say like, hey, I put the work in just like everyone else. And then once reality started to set in of just like, this is where you're at right now. This is your situation. Let's move on from there. It was really just about while my physical was getting back right, just making sure that my mental was intact and, not losing sight of what the goal was. And that was to make the team. And so when the time came, obviously we went to Olympic trials and our whole training group, we swept the women's 100 meter. And I don't think that's something that's been done in an Olympic, let alone at a U.S. championships in a long time. 3 women from the same training group to make the team. So that was definitely something, I was happy to be a part of. And then going into Paris, it was just about, I felt like I really had a good chance to win the whole thing. Wow. But it was also just in that moment when I saw my name come up in that last spot, it was just, in a sense, it wasn't a goal, it was a goal in my eyes because I had overcome so much that year to be able to have my name up there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Sister, you've been very, very successful. I've never been able to run track, but all that you've accomplished, the big stages that you've been on, I would love to know. I know what the feeling like is coming out that tunnel where people scream your name. I want to know, what is that feeling like when you get in those blocks and it's silent? What's going through your mind? Are you nervous? You have butterflies? What is that feeling like?
So I think this year for me, like once it gets silent, it's almost kind of like I get to use that opportunity as for me to give myself that last minute pep talk, in a sense of just like, okay, you're here now, make the best of this situation or this opportunity that's being presented. And once they say on your mark, I say, here we go. And that's that. When the gun goes off, whatever happens, happens.
I think you gained a lot of confidence, Melissa. Look, you beat the reigning Olympic champ. You get to race every day, practice against the reigning world champ. But I think when you beat Alfred, the St. Lucian, when you beat her, it's just like you got 10 feet tall. You like, Alvarado, this my year. I saw it. I saw when you beat her, something came over you, and I don't know if you felt that before that race, but when you beat her that day and you ran the time that you ran, you're like, oh yeah, I'm on to something.
Yeah. I think honestly and truly for me, that race was obviously, it was basically a Olympic rematch. And so I remember being in the tunnel and going out there, and I just remember saying, like, they're not going to get you twice. Okay. In life, you have situations where things may or may not go your way, but it's all about how you come back or bounce back from those situations, whether it went in your favor or not, and you learn from them and you grow from them. And so that's literally been my approach this year as well. After I realized how content I was with how the 2024 season went for me, it really was about me coming into this year and saying, okay, well, let's see what a healthy Melissa can do. And once we realize, like, hey, you're healthy, you're doing the things that you need to do, let's build on that. Let's be the best Melissa that, you can possibly be. Because this is like literally what you're seeing right now is something that I've always dreamed of doing. And to be living part of that dream right now is just, mind blowing. But also not very surprising too, just because I've been putting in the work. Like, I've been working my butt off. And so, when I go out here and I run these races and I run these times and, all of these other things, the things that's probably the most surprising to me is, when you hear the history stats or how long it's been since something like this has been done, like that part of it is shocking. Yeah. But when it comes to like, the times that I want to run and the way I'm going about executing my races and how I'm showing up and competing, like none of that is a surprise because I literally work for it every single day in practice.
When you talk, do you understand? There have only been 2 women to go to 10 sub 6. You got Flojo, the great Flojo, who run 10:49, and you got Elaine Thompson-Herah, who's run 10:54. You got an opportunity to do something special. And I mentioned that great season that Shelly Ann Fraser-Price had, where she had like 10, she had 6 races in that season. And then we mentioned Elaine Thompson. She went 10:54, and then she came back at I think it was the Prefontaine of the Worlds, and ran 10:61. And for you to, I mean, when I saw the time today, 10:65, it looked like 10:65. I thought today was like 10:71, 10:72. I said, but because you weren't challenged. Now I know you couldn't see all the way outside. I think that was Clayton that was way outside in lane 9, and I don't know if you could see her, but you were like, you get out. I mean, you push. I mean, hey, MJ, you get out of those blocks.
Oh yeah, and that's really what the race plan today was about. My coach just made sure to tell me like, hey, I want to put this race to bed in the first 30 meters. Yeah. And so that's what I tried to go out there and do. Like, it's literally, that's how it goes for me. Every single race, there's something, whether it be, hey, when you get to your transition, you need to hit it this way, or, hey, let's put it to bed early. Per se. So, it's really just that.
Right. I'm thinking, I'm like, when you go into a race, and Dennis was a great starter himself. It's like when you says, okay, put it to bed in the first 30. Okay, you get out Now you get into your transition. Do you look around? Can you feel like, okay, I can shut it down? Because the way you got out today, had you stayed on the gas, you might have could have dipped down to maybe 1062, 1063.
Yeah. So what's crazy is I agree with you. I didn't think that 1066 was going to pop up on the clock today. I really just wanted to go out there and be like, hey, okay, let's get an overseas PB. I haven't ran that fast. The fastest I've ever ran overseas was 1092, which isn't bad, but obviously you always want to aim for better and things like that. And for Americans, coming over, we call it going across the pond. That you have the travel, you have
the food,
jet lag, and everything that you have to deal with. Yes, it's a lot of factors within that, but I made sure to set myself up for I made sure to set myself up to be able to go out there and run as fast as I possibly could today. Even if that meant leaving an extra day early so that I would have time to get the travel out my legs, or, being a student in the sport and asking people around me who've done this before multiple times, like, hey, like what works for you when it comes time for these long flights? Like, how do you get over your jet lag? How do you recover from the plane ride and things like that? So, just being proactive and not being afraid to ask questions, or wanting to learn from that as well, because I want to be doing this for a long time. So I always want to make sure that I'm putting my best foot forward, and that's utilizing all of my resources, doing research on my own, whether it be asking some of my training partners or asking people who ran in the past and done this for many, many years. I want to make sure that if I say I want to be one of the best in the sports, then I'm doing the things that I need to do in order to be the best in the sport.
You know what? I'm curious. I have my daughter runs track for University of Kentucky. She runs the 4 and 8 right now. I'm curious, at your level, at the highest level, how does the training? How is the training going? How do the training sessions go for us when you think about football? Let's say there's a game on Sunday, right? Monday is a film day. Tuesday you're off. Wednesday and Thursdays, you hitting it hard. Friday, you take Wednesday and Thursdays, and it's not as hard. What's the word?
Intense.
Yeah, it's not as intense. Saturday, walkthrough. Sunday, you play your game. So when it comes to tracking and you have a race coming up, what do the days look like? Well, how do you know how to train without peaking before you actually do the race itself?
Did she freeze?
Is like, say for instance, I'll even do maybe a week right before we have like a U.S. trials. So the week before U.S. trials, we were like really, I call it being in the lab, where we do 1 day on, 1 day off. So we'll have a heavy sprint day, which we're doing like blocks and a lot of sprint training. So whether that be overspeed training or getting like close to FAT timing, just seeing where we are with flat foot speed, and then being able to take those two things and translate it over. And then we'll come the next day and then have an off day where we'll just do strides and things like that. And we'll do that basically going into the week of U.S. trials. And then when we get to U.S. trials, it's just about, doing things that's going to keep the body awake and alert, but also not trying to do too much. So we'll do something like maybe like a 150, but the pace will be slower, and we'll just work on technique and things like that. And then we'll have another down day, and then what we call it pre-meet, which is the day before the meet starts, and that'll be the day where we do our blocks. And it's really just some pop-out blocks. We'll have about maybe 2 or 3 of them, and a nice little quick run, or I say quick run, really a quick sprint, like maybe 60 meters or something like that. And then we'll hit it. If the time is good, all right, shut it down, take your shoes off, go cool down, and that's it.
Oh, that's dope. Unc, it sounds like, honestly, the way you guys train, you train in different phases of the race, but you never actually run the full race before you actually do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that's probably something that's definitely worked to my advantage a lot. Especially like when we have our sprint days, like we'll literally have 2 different sessions, but they're, like you said, working on both parts of the races. We'll have a part in our Yeah, like we'll have a part in our practice where we do strictly blocks, but we won't go out but so far. And then we'll come on the second half of the day and do, sprints, something like that, whereas we can put together what we did in the blocks, but also work on the latter ends of our races. And, it gives coach an opportunity to really see the areas where we're not as strong or where our strong points are, and then how we build off of those and then make those weaker points stronger.
Listen, you was mainly known as a 100-meter specialist, but when you go down there and you lay the time that you laid down in the trials, they're like, hold on, what happened to the 100-meter specialist? No. There is a legit chance you can double. It is because, look, the St. Lucian, she ain't going anywhere. That's your competition. You know that. Look, Toulouse is Toulouse. She's a big race, and we know the Jamaicans from Shelly Ann Fraser and Elaine Hera. They're not. Shelly Ann is going to be there. Elaine isn't. Sharika Jackson. They are big. They are big game hunters. They show up in the World and the Olympics. The Jamaicans show up, but Toulouse. But your competition, is probably going to be right next to you. 4 and 5, y'all probably going to be right next to each other. The St. Lucian, Julian Alfred. She ain't going anywhere. She's getting 100 and 200. You mentioned Paris. You like, damn, I was injured going in and I got a bronze. I'm happy. I'm thankful. You got, if I'm not mistaken, I think you got the silver at the Worlds, right?
No, so I got bronze in the 100 at I got bronze in the 100 in Paris. And then I got silver at Olympic trials.
So now, how do you train? Because the premier race is the 100. But you're like, well, hell, I'm here. I might as well be greedy. and get double gold. I might as well.
Yeah. So me and the 200 have a love-hate relationship. It ain't never had no problems with me, but I have problems with it. So I'm kind of, we don't have as much problems anymore. That's because I know how to run it now. And then I'm not scared of the pain. Really, for me, it was always the pain for the in the 200 that was the thing that I feared the most. But after getting over that, hey, the pain is like lactic is lactic at the end of the day. It's going to be in your, very right, temporary. But I'm in shape. I'm in good shape.
You're in phenomenal shape.
You have
no. Look, I'm a track aficionado. To go back-to-back 65, 66, like I said, there haven't been a whole lot of women, and we've had some great 100-meter runners, and I'm not just talking about Americans. I'm talking about from the Jamaicans and Marion Jones, and you go back to, well, obviously they weren't running times back then, but you look at Marion Jones, you look at Flojo, you look at Evelyn Ashford, you look at Gail Devers, you look at Elaine Thompson and Shelly Ann Fraser, and you look at Sha'Carri. To put together 65 and 66 in back-to-back races, that doesn't happen often. So you're in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
I just hope MJ, you can hold on to this, because if you hold on to this kind of shape, there's something special in store for you in Tokyo. Because I know she's gonna bring the best out of you, and you're gonna bring the best out of her. And with that track and a favorable condition, and hopefully we can get something about 1.5 to 1.8 behind you. Come on. Come on with it. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be hyped. But in the 200, with your kind of speed, what? And you say you were scared of the pain, because the 200 with your kind of speed, you got to get out, because you don't like Gabby can run the 400. She can run 49 400. So she has that kind of endurance, that strength to come on at the end. You like, I'm gonna do a Leonardo DiCaprio, catch him if you can, because I'm gonna get out here on you. Come get me.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's always just about, well, for any athlete, it's just, knowing what your strengths are and letting your strengths play to your advantage. I know, because even if you go back and you look at when I ran in the Miami Grand Slam, that was my first. I would say, like, I ran the 200 in Kingston, but the wind was like crazy. I ran into like a negative 4.7 wind or something. So I literally ran with a hurricane. I was going to say,
you ran into a hurricane.
So at that point, it was So that, like, at that point, it's just about, like, nobody cares about the time. Like, just put your head down and run. But so I say Miami was probably my first real 200 of the year. And I'm in a race with the Olympic gold medalist, the Olympic bronze medalist, and then all these other women who run the 200 on a regular, and I don't. Yeah. So going into that race, I was just kind of like, I won the 100 the day before. I ran a 10.7. It was windy, but it's just like, okay, it's those 10.7. Like, okay, let's go back out there the next day and see what we can do. Like, let's see what we got in the 10. There's no expectation on what I can do, like, on the line, and let's see what you got. And that's what I did. I got out like my life depended on it, and I got to about 150, like a 100-meter specialist would do, and faded. I swam for about the last 30 meters of the race. Yeah. And every time I go back and look at that race, I'm like, man, Melissa, you were right there. Like, okay, bet. You were right there. Next time, it won't happen again. And when we got to Philly, that's literally what I did. I got blessed with the lane draw once again, and I just remember getting out on the curve, and when we came off the curve, it was just like, oh, wow, you're in the front? Stay in the front. Like, come on, let's do this. And even then, I kind of feel like, not that I held back a little bit in that 200, but it was almost like, I think she's going to come and catch me eventually. So it was kind of like almost I was waiting for her to do that. And it was like, Melissa, why did you do that? Like, why didn't you just trust your abilities? Why didn't you think that you were fully capable of winning this race, no matter who's in the race, you know? And so going into trials, or I won Philly, and then going into trials, it's just like, okay, let's just go out there and see what you got. You know, you're strong enough to do it. You know how to execute a race. Just go out there and do it. Like, stop getting in your own way and go out there and do what you know you can do. And so that's what I did. And I'm happy. Like, 2184 for me, you don't even want to know what I had written down on my goals for the 200 this year. I, like, surpassed
probably 22 flat, low 22 or maybe 22 flat. But I think what running the 200 did do,
it was definitely 21.9.
Okay, and you surpassed, so you went 21.8. But I think what the 200 did do is that it gave you the strength that you can hold on to that 100 meters. So I'm expecting something really, I'm expecting something special. I'm expecting something that only FloJo has been able to do. I'm expecting you to go, I can see a scenario, you go high 10.5. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can too.
I like it. So, let me ask you this. When you were mainly a 100 meter, now you've into the 200. How different is the training from the 1 to the 2?
For us, it's actually not that different. We pretty much do the same things we do for the 100, for the 200. Okay. The way our coach trains us, it's literally like, you either got it or you don't. You know, it's kind of one of those things. And then obviously, you know, when it comes to certain part of the races, like there is an extra 100 meters. So, you know, it's all about teaching us when we're getting out of the blocks and what we do at the point of the 200 and things like that. But when it comes to, like, if you're asking, like, do we do more strength endurance training for that, or, you know, if different in that aspect of it, it's not that much. It doesn't vary a lot. Right. Yeah.
Because like 400 meter runners, they'll do a lot of 500, a lot of 600s. 200 meters runners, you'll probably do a lot more threes. And for the 100 meters, you do a lot more 150s, maybe 170s, like that. So it's interesting to see, because they require different things. You know, obviously the 100 meters is all about get out, because I don't care. 10.7 ain't catching 10.7. The first 10.7 that get out the blocks, that's the 10.7 that's go cross the finish line first. So those days of you running somebody down, That's the thing.
Absolutely.
That's the thing in the past when you dealing with equal, you and Julian and Miss Alfred, when you guys get out, and that's what you've been able to do. I'm like, I don't know if I've seen a woman get out of the blocks like you. I mean, it's almost like I'm looking at you. You're like a 2 foot, like you push off like 2 feet. Normally, you see that with men. So
it's well.
Go ahead, because I want to know.
Oh no, I was just going
to how have you been able to, like, the way you thrust yourself out of the blocks?
So for me, it's all about it's almost this thing to where, like, we do it every single day in practice. So the minute I hear go, the first thing is just like, okay, how much I first step? In doing so, obviously it's about, you get to the technical side of things. So you talk about your stride length and all of that stuff. But for me, it's really just about how much can I get out of these first couple of steps? How can I set myself up to separate from the rest of the field is basically what I'm thinking in my head. And whatever gets me to doing that is basically how I go about it. It's always fun, though, to be able to line up with women who who are just as capable of doing the things that I do, as far as getting out the blocks. Like, I like getting out the blocks with people. Yeah. It makes me want to be better. It makes me, like, if we can get out together, I now want to see how I can get out faster than you. Like, that's the type of athlete that I am. I'm always looking for ways to improve, always looking for ways to be a better Melissa. And in doing that, it boils down to perfecting my craft. And I do that every single day with my training partners in practice. Like, we push each other past our limits sometimes, and in good ways, obviously. But, just, bringing the best out of one another is I feel like why I've been able to do the things that I've been able to do. Like, you see me, how you say, like, I get out the blocks the way I do. I don't get out the blocks the way I do if I'm not being pushed like that in practice. Right. So,
and I'm no disrespect, but I forgot about the great Brits, Daryl Nita and Dina Asher Smith. I'm sure they're gonna be on the line. They're gonna have something to say about this. But Melissa, I mean, have you thought about? I mean, when you were growing up, did it ever cross your mind? I want to be the fastest woman in the world. Not in Texas or Florida or Georgia. I'm gonna be the fast of 8 billion people. There's not gonna be a woman in the world that can outrun me.
Yes, honestly and truthfully, yes. There's no lies to it. I'm so dead serious. Yes.
I mean, look, I'm expecting a goal in the 100 meters. I'm expecting a time. I'm expecting you to lay down something special that we're going to be talking about leading in the 28, because obviously the Olympics going to be in LA, and hopefully you can stay healthy. But I'm expecting something special, because I know you got it in you. And the way you run, the time that you run, it ain't she ran 10.8, now she ran 11 flat. She ran 10.78, and now she run 10.92. It went from 10.88, 10.86, 10.84, 82, 75, 72, 6. I'm like, well, damn.
Constant improvement.
Hey, she got a hurricane behind her or something? Because the time she laying down and the consistency in which you're laying these times down.
Oh yeah. Consistency is the name of the game in our sport. And I feel like the biggest thing for me this year, also just on top of everything else that I've been doing, whether it be my mindset or anything like that, is just being disciplined in who I want to be. On those days where, I may not be feeling my best, or, man, I'm a little tired today. Coach been beating us up all week. Like, make sure to keep showing up for myself. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to get to Tokyo and be like, man, if I would have just did that one cool down lap, or if I would have just sucked it up and came to play, or if I would have did that up, then maybe, like, I don't want to leave with
no regrets.
I didn't do everything that I did. I didn't leave, or I didn't do. Yes, I can't get the words out for some reason. Excuse me, it's 5 o'clock in the morning over here. But
and
yeah,
we thank you for your time, because there are two. You get a lifetime of discipline or a lifetime of regret. Now, the lifetime of discipline is something that you can look back and you can be proud of. That regret is something that you can't go back and undo. And so, like I said, I'm expecting you. You look fit. You are fit for you to run those times that you've been running, the consistency in which you've been running, Melissa. So I'm expecting you when you win, which you will win. We're going to speak it into, they say there's power in the tongue. We're going to speak it into existence. You're going to win, and you're going to come back here, and we're going to have something very, very special for you on Nightcap. So when you win the 100 meters, come on back and have a conversation with us.
Okay.
All right.
Melissa, thank you so much.
That's a
thank
deal.
you for your time. Appreciate you staying up or getting up early in the morning to have this conversation with us. You can tell that we are big track fans. We covered the Olympics. We're going to cover the World Championships. We didn't get an opportunity to come out to the trials, but moving forward, we will be at the trials. Hey, Ocho. In her downtime, she likes playing Call of Duty, and say she wear a size 14 and she be putting butts in guys.
Hey,
she be putting butts in guys.
You play Call of Duty for real?
I do.
Okay. We're gonna have to run. We're gonna have to run one. We're gonna have to run one. Now we talking. I like it.
All right.
I got you.
Here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. She's the U.S. Champ in the 100 meters and the 200 meters. She'll be representing the U.S. in the 100, the 200, and the 4x1. Hey, you pick up a fourth goal. You jump on that 4x4. You got that in you?
Ooh, listen. If they want to win, they should leave me off of it this year. I'm just being honest.
Melissa, congratulations on all your success. Stay healthy, and we look forward to talking to you real soon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Take care.